what can the guy do to pursue her? Because look, men are really simple creatures. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know if there's been many girls in my life who I've really been attracted to, really been interested, who've sent me signals that they were interested too, and they weren't dating anybody else that I didn't pursue. I mean, if the feeling is mutual there, the pursuit tends to be natural if the guy's worth anything. Because, like, girls don't even want to date a guy who's not willing to take any risk to begin with. But let's say you got a guy and he wants to pursue her, a little bit nervous. No, his dad didn't really sit him down and say, okay, here's how to pursue a woman, to discern, to pursue her with sincerity, to commit to her with clarity. Didn't have a dad that kind of ran him through all that stuff. He never bought the dating blueprint book at chastity.com. And so he's not sure exactly, how do I ask this girl out? So how does a guy do it, nuts and bolts, without being creepy or sleazy or weird or scaring her away? Like, how can he ask her out? What would you recommend?
I have a couple of proven methods that have a 100% success rate. You say things like, hey, my name's Will, God's Will.
She's in the boat.
Hey, it's really loud here. I know a quiet place in Adoration Chapel down the street. You want to go pray?
Hey, that'll work.
I mean, it could work. That's how I met your mother. It could work, but oftentimes maybe it won't. I think here's the thing. I sat down with a friend of mine, a college student, really great guy. And he said, Paul, look, like, I've seen you speak before. You seem really confident. You know how to communicate. I am deathly afraid of, talking to strangers, bringing up conversation. I said, wow, thank you for sharing that with me, Chris. You're not alone. There's a lot of people out there who are afraid of social settings, of putting themselves out there, getting to know new people, and especially strangers, let alone the opposite sex, right? And so I said, here's your homework this week, man. I want you to go and purposefully talk to strangers. Not if you're a kid, don't take the candy, don't talk to strangers, but really, like, going up to a stranger, whether that's the person checking out your food at the grocery store, or, if you're on a university campus, just walking up to someone and just striking up conversation. And it's going to feel really awkward, and that's okay. That's pretty normal. But I think if you go in there with some sort of a conversation starter, and so the homework portion, Jason, before we even get to the asking out, is just getting comfortable, being able to really engage in the art of conversation. I think a lot of people have been stunted in their ability to do just that because of our stinking phones, right? We're so dependent upon texting and really these, like, cheap, easy ways to communicate that we've lost the ability to really have conversations in real time, to confidently approach someone, ask an open-ended question, listen to their response, think about the next thing that you would say that relates to the previous thing, and the give and take, the ebb and flow, the body language. People don't know how to do this. It can literally be as simple as, one, taking my course, A Catholic Guide to Adulting, where I cover this topic, or even just figuring it out just through trial and error. So one, I told this guy, look, go out there and talk to people on campus. And you know what? He stuck to it. He did it every day. And by a couple of weeks, he was like, thank you so much. I'm like, I feel much more confident. I feel like I'm not this failure who has nothing to, like, give to other people that is interesting. And if you don't feel like a very interesting person, that's okay. Just learn some interesting things that you can share with others, That's essentially our life as speakers. Amen, Jason. Yeah. I mean, sadly to say, sometimes it's just regurgitating the things that we've heard that have helped us. This is our life. This is our mission and vocation. It's like nothing really is new in some sense, but we take it from the perspective and experience of our life and who we are, and we share ourselves with others. And so learning how to overcome that social awkwardness that sometimes people feel. It's okay to feel awkward. But in order to become confident, you have to work against the awkwardness. Just like the virtue of courage. It doesn't mean that you don't have any fear. It means that the fear is there, and yet you push through the fear and you do the noble task anyways. And the same thing goes for maybe the social dilemma of I feel weird in social settings. When it comes to the attraction that you have to a girl, I'm not saying you have to walk up to a complete stranger who you think is attractive, but you could. And you might miss all the opportunities where you don't take advantage of that. Say you're at a young adult event at church and you see a really cute girl and she happens to be going to daily mass. So you really know she's, like, already just quality in terms of her prayer life. Like she takes it seriously. And you see her, you've smiled a couple times, but you didn't have the gusto to like walk up to her, you know? But once again, learning to go up and introduce yourself, not in a creepy like pickup line kind of way, but like, hey, I noticed you come here often. My name's Paul. What's your name? It's like, it's cool that like we're bringing the average age down like a couple decades, you know. She laughs and you keep having a conversation. You know, where do you go to school? I go here. And at the end of the conversation, right, assuming that there is a good conversation, a vibe that was positive, you could even dare say this: hey, I've really enjoyed our conversation. I think you're a really beautiful person. I'd love to get to know you more. Could I take you out on a date for some coffee? Right? And that can strike fear in the heart of a young man, right?
Wait, did you say the word date?
I said date. I didn't say marriage. I didn't say
Shouldn't you just
out.
say we should hang out or get together sometime or chill?
Well, here's the problem, and this is really
What
important.
if you let her know what you're thinking? That's too much. You have to leave it open-ended. I thought to be incredibly vague. Isn't that what a woman wants? A lack of clarity and intentionality?
Yeah, you know, like grade school where you just like jump kick her, throw like rocks at her to let her know that you like her, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's assault. You will be arrested. Yeah, Jason, it's so important to let a girl know that you are upfront, that you are confident and courageous enough, really. And girls appreciate that. When a guy knows what he wants, he has vision, direction, and he takes action, right? Women actually appreciate this. So to let a girl know, like, look, I think you're beautiful. Like, I'd love to get to know you more. Can I take you out on a date? Like, you know, there might be a little, what's the word, embarrassment, but at the same time, I don't think any woman on this planet would take that offensively unless she were just an offensive individual who is creepy. You know? But if this is in the context of a normal conversation, I mean, what's the worst thing that this girl could say? No, you ugly son of a mother. Right? I mean, if she takes that path, that's not the type of girl you want to be with. So consider yourself blessed. You dodged a bullet there, right? The worst thing a girl could say is, oh, no, thank you, or I'm dating, or I'm discerning religious life because I heard Paul speak, and whatever, you know. And if that's the case, it's like, no worries, I respect that. Have a great day. You walk away. That's it, right? Cry by yourself in your room, not in front of her, okay? Have some dignity, have some self-worth, right? But if she says, oh, yeah, sure, you say, could I have your number, right? Really simple. Write the number. Nice meeting you, and I look forward to calling you a little bit later this week, right? Simple as that. And you miss every shot you don't take. I can't tell you how many times as a single guy who was just wanting so badly to date, like I would see a beautiful, attractive Catholic girl and I wouldn't do anything because I was afraid. I was afraid to make action. I was afraid to be rejected. I was afraid that she might think I was weird. And guess what? I missed every opportunity. Not to say God didn't work it out. I have a beautiful wife who eventually, when I did meet her, it was at my friend's wedding reception. I was emceeing at the time, and I was doing my whole spiel, and she was laughing at my corny jokes. So, I was like, oh, I must talk to her before the night is over. She likes my jokes, right? And so, I went up to her, and my opener line was, I introduced myself, and I noticed she had like a tattoo on her shoulder. So I said, hey, can you tell me the story behind your tattoo, right? That was my opening line. Not creepy, pretty creative. And, the rest is history. We danced, we had a good time, and, I got her number and called her up, and we had an epic first date, and the rest is history, right? I mean, there's more to it than that, but that's the general gist. But had I not talked to her, I was just like in the back going, oh, she's way out of my league. They're all out of my league. They're all out of your league. It's okay. But you Google search celebrity women, they're like married to nerdy guys. Welcome to the club. Yeah, So
basically, you should just go up to a woman and let her know that you've been staring at her bare skin from behind, and then that should do the trick. That's the line you're.
Well, Jason, if you say I've been staring at your bare skin, she's going to be like, "Ill, you're a freak," right? There are ways to say things.
You gotta nuance that, yeah. So, and I remember I read recently this guy. He had never asked anybody out, and he was, I think, in his late 20s or maybe even early 30s and getting over pornography addiction and kind of leaving that lifestyle of like, hey, all these flawless supermodel porn stars never say no to me, but I'm scared to death to actually ask a real woman yes or no. And so he always kind of lived in this emasculated state and, was getting some counseling, really working through that. And his counselor recommended, ask a girl out. You're breaking free from this stuff. You're moving forward. Ask a girl out. And he went ahead and did. And he asked the girl out and she said no. And he went back in his car, and when she wasn't around, and he was like, yes. And he celebrated the fact that he did it. Not that he got the yes, but he finally had the guts to ask. And so that in itself is an achievement, just to be able to have the guts to ask. Because I remember one girl saying, she said, look, guys, the easier it is to ask a lady out, the easier it is for the lady to say no. And so when it's that face-to-face, you're not guaranteed a yes, but there's an achievement in at least having flattered a woman to let her know that you're interested in her. And then you end up, as I said, with clarity.